Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all your sports betting needs and sports betting info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's NHL Hockey Stanley Cup Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code, that's Bleav, BLEAV, to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash. I'm here with former legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Guys, it's draft week. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Ready?
Excited. Very excited.
There's so many rumors. I feel like every week we will hear about rumors, and it's like as we get closer to the draft, it's like more stuff's coming out. Teams are trying to move this guy. They're sellers on this guy. And then the one that I wanted to ask you before we got on, it's not a question that we have as far as a segment tonight, but it was I think it was last night that one of the Miami beat writers of the local channel down in Miami had a thing saying that the Heat are actually looking into two specific players this offseason. They're checking in on Donovan Mitchell and Joel Embiid is the other guy they're checking in on. A lot of Sixers fans were laughing about it. Everyone's kind of laughing about the fact that they're checking in on that. Just wanted to hear what you guys had to say about Miami Heat checking in on the availability of Joel Embiid.
I don't think it goes anywhere, but I understand it. You know, it depends on Joel's comment and how you take it. Do that means that Jimmy come back to us or he goes to Miami? So I think based on that comment, you got to see where it goes. I just think that it's a call that, Morey's not going to take.
Yeah. Just how's Joel? He's doing great. Bye. I mean, and I love it. It's just like, I love it's Donovan Mitchell. No disrespect to Donovan Mitchell, but Donovan Mitchell and Joel. It's like late 90s making a call for Michael Finley and Shaq. It's like, oh, okay. Which one of those are you more likely to get out of those two? And no disrespect to Finley either. He was a badass player, but the big difference between that and Shaq. So I don't think Miami's really stuck on the idea of getting Joel because him and Jimmy are buddies, but what they don't understand is, more than half the league are good buddies. You can't have them all on the same team. So,
yeah.
And what if it was free agency, I may be concerned.
Mm-hmm.
A sign and trade.
Not be a trade.
Yeah, that would be a little different, right? But we have him locked up for more than a few years, so I'm not. Joel's one guy I'm not worried about right now.
Yeah, and he's one of the guys had pretty much a consistent good relationship with Philadelphia. I mean, I know there was that one half year he had a little bit with the fans, but he's been pretty good with the. The fans love him, adore him. I think
when Morey came in, he picked his guy. He was like, all right, Joel, Ben, we got stars, but Joel, let's go play tennis together.
And one thing for the fans who were concerned about the comments that Joel made about the Miami Heat Monday, yesterday, he was at the facilities with Morey, Doc, checking in on Jaden Hardy, the rookie that we're looking at, and he was one of the players at the facilities to look at his workout. So that tells you all you need to know about Embiid being a mainstay in Philadelphia.
That's what you do before you ask out. You look to see the incoming rookie for your team.
Yeah. So like I said in the opener, a lot of rumors to go on, and obviously it's draft week, so we're going to touch on the rumors and the potential prospects if we keep the pick. So first topic tonight. So lots of rumors, and one big one that came out over the weekend was the fact that the Pacers are looking to move off Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner. So with those two guys, obviously everyone knows that Brogdon was a big piece that the Pacers were trying to sell last year to get Ben Simmons. They were going to try to package him with some other guys to get Simmons. And a lot of Sixers fans were a fan of the idea of getting Brogdon last year, and still some would like us to try to trade for Brogdon. I don't know the contract situation. I think, Teja, you probably looked at the numbers there, but for Brogdon. But some fans are saying that Brogdon could be a 1-2-3 kind of player. He could play a little bit of three, like a small ball three, and he could also be a six-man. what do you guys think of the potential fit of a Malcolm Brogdon in Philadelphia? Could that be someone we could go to, or what do you guys think about that?
I like Malcolm Brogdon. I think that he's a 1-2 for you. Nice size. I don't think he's a full-time 3, but he's a guy that you can put in there as a third primary ball handler. You can play him with Maxey and James. It's just a matter of how much and who the opponent is. But I like what he brings to the table. He can make a shot. He can make plays. He can solid defender. I still think it just comes down to who we're moving him for. But I mean, if you can, I think he's worth looking into, and a lot of things we talked about with Danny's salary and a pick. And I think if we're trying to win right now, that's a guy that I think he can definitely help us win.
Yeah, Teja, what do you think about Brogdon?
Totally. Yeah, I agree on the 1 and 2 thing. So I've got into it with a couple of our listeners over whether or not Dort can play 3. I know, you and I, Eric, had a little thing about that last week too. So if I think Dort could play 3 at 6'3", then I naturally
the listeners didn't think he could play 3 or not. Like, whose side?
You're right. I didn't fully commit to that. I said based on what we've seen, I think he could play 3 for us. So I'm playing like the really political way here, going both ways. But I mean, Brogdon's 6'5". That's not small, right? He plays 1 and 2. I don't really see him guard the bigger wings on teams, and not that I watch all of his games, but from what I've seen, it looks like he usually sticks on the 1 and 2. But he's a really good defender. He's got a good catch and shoot. I mean, he does check those boxes, right? I mean, how tall is Danny? 6'5", 6'6"?
He's around Danny's height.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't. He can even handle the ball. He could be a point guard on the second unit if we need him to be. So he's got versatility, and he can maybe play the 3. I mean,
it gives us. I think it gives us flexibility.
Yeah,
for sure. With Teja's favorite player, Thibault, based on how he's playing or how he, his return this season, how he comes back if he's with us. Having a guy like Malcolm kind of gives you that same versatility that Danny did, but it's a little different. He's a different player than Danny, but it still gives you that versatility to add a guy at the 2, 3, and with him, it can either be the 1.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. I just, I think that he's a starter. We talked about a lot of guys coming in, but I think he's a guy that's a starter, and it's just whether you want to start him at the 2 or the 3. I mean, is this a guy that I don't know if he's that type of player that pushes Maxey to the 6-man role, because I don't know if his best skill set fits in that mold. But with our team, it may be a 3. I just think I just never really seen him as a full-time 3. I didn't look at him like that, but it's possible. But I definitely like him.
Yeah, I didn't think so either at first, but then when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I mean, you'd be experimenting with it a bit because I think it is out of position for what he's used to, but he's a smart player. He's a good defender. His 3-pointers was down last year. He's down to 31%. That's his lowest, I believe, even since he was a rookie. His career.
He'll get more clean looks with us, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he would. Before that, he was 39%.
So what if I don't remember exactly what position was his primary position when he was with the Bucks?
Ooh,
was Giannis handling the ball that much then?
I think he was just splitting off 1 and 2. I don't think
because he was rookie of the year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the famous. That was the what you call it year, wasn't it?
Wasn't the Embiid year?
Yep, that's right. Yep. I mean, the only thing I'd be a little worried about, we're already getting killed in the boards, and it would be, I wouldn't say an undersized 3, but it's definitely not a big 3 by any means. 6'5" is not huge.
I mean, we kind of talking sideways because we're saying he's an undersized 3, but he's the same size as Danny.
Yeah, but we got killed in the boards with Danny.
Yes. So is that more 3 or more 4? Is it Tobias is an undersized 4 or and Tobias to me is a solid rebounder. I think it has to be a collective thing. I don't think you can just point to a three and be like, hey, we need a three that's going to rebound, because at the end of the day, we need a three that's going to make plays and make shots.
Yep.
That's the priority.
Yeah, and he's a well-built guy. He's 6'5", almost 230. Like he's not small by any means, you know. He's well-built. I don't think he get.
I think he can pull it off. I wasn't really envisioning him as a three.
Yeah,
but I do think that he fits and it could work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he could definitely groom into a definite Danny Green, but with handles. So I don't think that's.
I just, if I had a concern about it, my concern would be more of putting a guy, excuse me, that has, for the most of his career, been somewhat of a ball handler into basically now a almost strictly catch and shoot role.
Yeah.
That would be my concern more than his size. Unless, like I said, they're going to come and now they're going to have three guys basically handle the ball, which can be done.
Yeah, it would take a little pressure off both Harden and Maxey. But, you know, when you start after the first 5 or 6 minutes, you're switching up lineups all the time. They could just see what works best.
Yeah. I mean, I do know from when I played with the Sixers, and obviously it was a long time ago, our best lineup was myself, AI, and Aaron. And all of us can handle the ball. Yeah. So any one of us could initiate the offense. And Coach Brown wanted it like that, because at the end of the game, he always wanted guys that initiate the offense and make free throws. So we had, you know, basically we could run any kind of play. It kind of opened up things for us. So I almost see it like that, even though they don't have an AI. We didn't have James, but I understand why coaches would want to do it. I just don't know if that's how you start. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's your starting lineup, but I know you can definitely finish like that.
Mm-hmm. And Aaron was around 6'5", right? 6'5"? Yeah. Actually, Brogdon's kind of Aaron McKee-ish, isn't he?
Yeah.
A taller ball handler, good shooter, not a weak defender by any means. Like he didn't back down. It wasn't, again, you're right. It wasn't ideal. But yeah, I think it could work. His salary is $22 million. He's on his last year coming up. So they're trying to do that because they don't expect on signing him. He's a little older than I thought. He's 29 and then going to be 30.
He's I Bleav he was a 4-year college guy.
Yeah. I think he played all
that makes sense.
4 years at UVA.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I mean, he fits with the timeline. You give him you get him and give him a 2-3 year deal along with what you're doing, possibly with Harden and with Embiid's timeline. I don't see. And again, I think as he gets a little older, maybe he will have to take on more of like a Danny Green type role eventually when he gets into his start entering his mid-30s. He might have to be just a 3 and play a little bigger. So maybe this would be good for him too. Yeah. And let me just take a moment here. Okay. I'm going to apologize. Okay. Maybe I, along with a bunch of Philly fans, I know there are a lot of them out there. I think you know what I'm about to say. Maybe we were a little reactionary on Matisse. I've had time to really think about it. I've had time to really soul search with Matisse.
Where is this coming from?
When you're thinking about trading this guy, trading that guy in and out, I just think I think I was being too hard on him. I think I was being too hard on him for a while now. And I saw him admit that he himself didn't feel like he could get his groove back after Toronto. And I feel like I forgot a little more of his pluses and pluses because of the playoffs. The playoffs can do bad things for you. We saw with Simmons. Simmons pretty much playoffs let him unravel his career. So playoffs can do bad things for you, man. So I have to tell you that your experience. But I'm willing to see it through with Matisse here. And I think he would be a good compliment for a guy like Brogdon. I think it'd be good to have both those guys in there. You have bigger lineups.
All I said was
you made the Matisse comment.
But you say you're looking at it. We're that's what he's supposed to be. So why give up on? Why go get something when he's supposed to be that guy? At least let's play this out.
Now I'd still be willing. I'm going to play both sides here. I'd still be willing. If I woke up and saw he was included in a deal for the right player, I wouldn't be that upset. But I also don't want to just.
That's everyone. I mean, that's what the old saying goes. Like everyone, it's a trade for everyone. Except for
Like
maybe
if Thibault was
guys.
included in the Brogdon deal with like Danny and like Furk, I wouldn't be that mad. I wouldn't. I really. I see Marcus's face. He doesn't agree. Really, if you woke up tomorrow and you saw we traded, or we're gonna trade the first Danny, which is basically gone, Furk and Thibault, you'd be upset.
I feel like that's a lot. I mean, just based on for Christian Wood go for last week, a first rounder, and then a bunch of like a bag of chips for Christian Wood, and we're trading Thibault and a first and Danny Green. I thought it's a lot. And
right, it is a lot. I'm just trying to make it work contractually too, because Danny's 10, Furk's 5. That's not enough. You need like one guy that makes like at least like 3 or 4. Thibault makes 4, so they can make it work with someone else. And absolutely, but
what's Brogdon's contract situation? I meant to ask that. What is his contract?
He makes 22. He's gonna make 22.5 this upcoming year.
It's
a little out of the range. But they make things work. So who knows? That's their job to do that. But
cash consideration.
I don't know I used to. It all changed as far as the percentage of a trade. How much above
we can take on a little more, as I saw Brian Toberek's article recently.
Either 10 or 20%. I'm not sure at a certain amount. I remember when I was a vice president in the union, I remember all that, but now it's changed, so I don't know the exact amount now.
Yeah. So we take on a little more. I think we'd probably have to get up to like the outgoing. I think we'd have to get up to the 18-19 range, which we're not far off with Furk and Danny. That's 15. Shake makes like 1.8, so I don't think that still wouldn't get us there. Yeah, I think we'd be close. Yeah, but you're right though with the Christian Wood thing. Who knows now? I mean, it's all out the window now. I never thought they would trade that for Wood, but so
I mean they traded reserves.
Yeah, Trey Burke, Boban, and Marquise Chris, and the 26th for Wood. So it's like 23, 3 higher, and then I mean, Danny Green's. You're not doing it for the player at this point. You're doing it for the contract, right? They're doing it for the pick. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what kind of threw me off because I think you and I have talked about Christian Wood in the past. That could be if we're gonna move off Tobias. I mean, that'd be a good guy to go and get, but
would have been,
at this point. But yeah, I'm happy to see you came around on him, Matisse. You took what Eric said last week.
Come on, I didn't want to trade him for peanuts. I just feel like I feel like my reputation on the show is like the anti-Matisse guy, and I want to clear the record up. I'm not anti.
You also got torn to shreds in the comments about Dort playing 3. People were with you on that, Eric. People didn't like Dort playing 3. A lot of the comments did not like.
Well, 1 or 2 guys. I wouldn't say everybody.
There was quite a few.
Yeah, but that same guy wants Barton to be our starting 3, and Barton weighs what my big gulp weighs. I mean, like come on now, come on, like Barton's not going to guard a LeBron.
Barton fits the role better, though.
Yep.
Well, what are you looking for? You looking for an ISO score? Or are you looking for a guy who can play defense? And
you're looking for a guy that can catch and shoot.
Is that Barton? Is Barton
catch and shoot and play defense for that role? I'm not saying sometimes you got a star in your role. It's not necessarily the best player. It's like the starring in that role.
I agree with that, but
Barton has played. The one thing he has done is he's played with a primary big that's your best player.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I think he would have been on the bench and as a 6th man if they had all their guys healthy. He only started because.
But even when they were healthy, he still played a lot.
Yeah,
he was a primary player. He was a primary player because he was their 2 guard when with Murray. Mm-hmm. He was playing the most. I don't know if he started all the time, but he was playing a great deal. I'm not saying
he plays a lot. No matter bench or starter, he plays around 30 minutes.
Guy. I'm just saying I think he would star in that role better.
He's not really a catch and shoot space. He's an ISO scorer, though. 5 ISO scorers starting, all 5 ISO scorers. I just don't.
Yeah, the ISO score doesn't matter if you can catch and shoot.
Yeah, but I think Dort only shot.
If you can still catch and shoot, ISO it doesn't matter if you're an ISO scorer. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it helps you that you're an ISO scorer.
Dort shot.
I think it hurts us if he struggles to catch and shoot because the majority of his shots are going to come that way. But it's not going to hurt us to have an additional guy that can catch the ball and make a play.
Mhm.
They averaged around the same points last year, and I think Dort shot 8 threes a game, which was top 10 per game, and he only shot, I think, 3% less than him. So it's not like Dort was a bad shooter.
I'm just looking at the NBA Finals, and what I see most people that Steph Curry get everybody thinking like, oh, this team is just they're just 3-point shooting team, and that's all you see. But what you see is multiple guys that can make plays off the bounce from that team is what they really don't talk about.
And defensive versatility, though.
Yes.
And Barton can not really do that. So
I'm just saying so to have that, like I'm just saying from the standpoint, it doesn't really hurt to have a guy that can catch and shoot and also make a play.
No, I don't think it's bad to have that. I just think with the amount of offensive firepower we have around them, I'd rather be, like I've always said, give me Matisse with like 3% more on the 3-point percentage, and I'd be a very happy man.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily against saying that, he would be better than Dort. I'm just saying that I kind of understand why people say that, because you're looking more at the role more so than the player. That's all I'm saying.
Like, I think Dort would be a better 6th man for us. I think he would excel at that role.
Well, you think Dort would be a better at anything?
Did I say Dort? No, I said Barton would be a better. I think Barton would be a better 6th.
You got Dort in mind, man.
I know. I'm Dorton. New thing. No, I think Barton would be a better 6th man. You just let him kind of like do his thing, go off and streak shoot. I think Dort would be better because he's more of a complimentary guy. You'd be like, you see that player over there, lock him down all game. And when we give you open shots, try to hit a couple of them, because with Maxey,
and I agree with you on Dort in that role. And all I'm saying is, I would rather keep the guy we have, because I don't think that you're getting as much.
He's that much better than him.
He's not that much better, especially in that role. I don't think he's going to be that much better.
Yeah. I want more percent. I'm not going to talk about Thibault again. My Thibault feelings.
I will say so. Last year, Barton actually he was kind of disgruntled with the team last year because he wanted to be in the starting lineup. He didn't want to come off the bench anymore. That was last year. This year, he played more of a starting role because of.
He played a lot this year.
Oh yeah, he did.
Okay, so from Brogdon to another Eastern Conference team that's looking to trade away a piece that we actually talked about in the show last week was a Terrence Ross. So Orlando Magic, the rumor is that Magic are willing to move off of Terrence Ross for 2 second-round picks. That's what they're looking for, 2 second-round picks. So my question to you guys is that something you guys would do? Would you guys trade 2 second-round picks for Terrence Ross to come off the bench for us?
2 second-round picks?
Get down to 1.
I would try to get down to 1 and maybe an additional reserve player, but I would try to get down to 1 second round. I mean, because it's not that he isn't worth 2 second-round picks. It's just that you can always use those second-round picks for something else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I see it. That I don't think you want to I think you kind of want to leave some cushion to make moves elsewhere.
You think you'd be a good difference maker for this team to come off the bench?
I think it would definitely help us.
Man.
It would definitely help us. I mean, he's a streaky, but he can get hot. And I think when he has those nights and he has those games, and you utilize it, and sometimes that's what you need. And I think he would be a guy that could help us out. I believe that. I think I said that the last show. I thought that he was a guy. Just depending on what you gave up for him, but I do think that he's a guy that can fill a role for us, and maybe that could be sort of the offense-defense guy at 3 with Teja's guy. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you get a guy like that, because when he's in there and everybody know that he can heat up, defensive teams or teams change how they play you defensively based on who's in there. So it's just, it's something that, with his size, I don't know if maybe you guys would know a little better than me if we had someone as similar to him off the bench that could play crucial minutes.
I mean, Isaiah Joe, build-wise, it is kind of like Terrence Ross, but build-wise, but he's so young. And we don't.
Yeah,
really
I'm saying as far as what he's done in the league, have we had a guy like that coming off the bench?
No, I don't think so. Now, speaking of six-man position, I think Ross would be a great six-man spark off the bench. This goes back to why I'm not a huge I don't love the Barton thing, because I think that kind of guy is so good for our second unit. And I started looking into the comparison between those two, right? So Barton and him, same exact height. They're both 6'6". Ross is listed at about 20, 25 pounds heavier than Barton. And keep in mind, Ross's minutes last year plummeted because Orlando just wanted to go young. So it was the first time in his career that he had under 10 shot attempts a game since 2017. But the last 4 years, him and Barton averaged the same exact points to like a decimal. Barton edges him out at rebounds and assists by almost like 2 more a game. 3-point percentages are close to 35 and 36. And Barton makes about 3 more million than Ross does. So I think he'd come back. I think he'd return to form once you put him on a team, like a contending team that he wants to, play hard for and go back to that role. And we know he's okay being coming off the bench. He wouldn't complain like Barton. So, get out of Disney World and come over to Philly, man. And I'd love that. And the price tags would be much lower. I think I'm assuming Denver wants more for Barton than a couple of seconds, right? If we can get a guy close to Barton to do that role off the bench, then I'd love that. I'm all for Ross.
His contract, so 2 second-round picks, what would we have to throw with that to kind of make that equal?
Green.
Oh, so it'd be like a swap, 2 seconds in green for that. We keep our first, then we can package our first for something.
I don't think we have any seconds this year, though. That's the problem. So it'd have to be like future second.
Oh.
And I know the ruling is for first-round picks, so it's seconds you trade? I don't know.
You can trade multiple. I Bleav you can trade multiple second-round picks
in a row, like years in a row.
Second picks, no, you can't do first, but
yeah, I'm not sure if it's limited to seconds. So if it's not, if we can keep our first, then yeah, that'd be green and that. I mean, that'd be great. And then you could try to trade contract and your first for something else you want to try. So yeah, I'm in. I'm chopping at Ross.
And Eric had it last week that Terrence Ross was the guy he was looking at. So Eric, Nostradamus over there, Eric.
Man,
I'm trying, just guessing. Yes, a little guesswork here. Teja got all the facts. I just do a little guesswork.
Okay, so the next topic, not really a rumor so much. It's kind of we'll probably see this happening soon. But reports are James Harden's going to opt into his $47.5 million deal. We talked about this on the show about a month and a half ago because that was where all the signs pointed to. But with that, the new information was that he'll probably sign a shorter contract, about a 2-year contract extension with the Sixers. So my question to you guys: what are you guys' thoughts on the move by James to opt in and probably sign a 2-year contract extension? What are your thoughts on that? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, my concern when we spoke about the contract has always been about whether they can come to an agreement on the years. Because I look at, everyone seems to look at what James did and how it compares to the old James. And you look at his numbers now, like his numbers, based on his numbers and who he is, the money, he can argue with that fits. So it's just the year commitment. And I would still like to see what that is. And if it's any options, who has the options? And how much is fully guaranteed, I would like to see it all. But I still think the years, you obviously can't go past Joel's contract. So that's what I thought was most important.
So you'd be happy with it if he opted in and then 2-year extension?
I would if I'm James, obviously I would like to get that, but I would say opt in a year and then maybe either a partial or team option, which I know James isn't going to do. But that's what I would like to see. I just don't see him doing that. I don't see him and his agent doing that. I think that'll be a disservice for his agent if that's what the deal he got. I Bleav that he would just go to free agency before that happens. So I do believe that he'll at least get those 2 years.
Yeah.
Teja, thoughts?
I can't say exact thoughts on everything till all the numbers. We do see them all, like Eric was saying. We'll see the numbers are. I think it's encouraging though, because when we made that trade, initially everyone loved it because we finally got ding dong, the witch is dead. Ben Simmons was gone, but the biggest doubt was for Sixers was oh man, so now he's going to get 5 years, $100 billion, and his skills will fall apart. How's James going to age? All that stuff. So that's no longer the case here, right? So if he opted in with the rumors, if they're true, the 1 year opt-in and a 2 year extension, we were looking at 3 more years, which is great because we could retool maybe one more time before Joel really starts to decline. And it also gives Harden the incentive to chase one more Chris Paul-like contract. So whereas if you're giving him 6 years, he's like he can, hopefully he doesn't, but he couldn't mail it in and be like, well, I got this money for 6 years. What the hell do I need to do to get better? I am who I am type thing, right? As we've heard before from Benny Boy. But it seems like he wants to win. So we'll have to wait to see about cap flexibilities once the numbers come in. But the recent articles do indicate that he'll opt in. And if we can dump salary and have the full MLE and BAE, it'd be great. But I like that he's choosing to go, if he does, the rumors are true, choosing to go shorter because it means, he's going to be chasing another one after that. And he feels like he can get better and still demand another contract after this. I like that confidence from him, thinking that. Be like, okay, just like Chris Paul got his contract, I think at like 34, the next like 3 or 4 year deal. I think he feels like, I can do that too. I'll be that good. So, hey, kudos to him if he's going to do that. And I think it's great for us too.
Yeah, in one of the initial articles I read on that said that it was actually the team was hesitant and wanted to give him a longer term deal.
Yeah,
it seemed it was the kind of the team thing, and a lot of Sixers fans were saying, "Oh, Daryl and all Harden's best friends are going to give him a 5 year deal and lock him up forever. We're going to be hamstrung." I guess. And
he said he wants to win. He said he wants to do anything possible to help this team maximize their chances of winning. Is what he said. So, 2-3 year deal thing falls in line. Let's see what the numbers are and go from there. Yeah, but it sounds good so far.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's usually a thing that the players say, I want to do everything I want to do to win. And then
it's different ways to work it. I mean, you can make it incentive based on, how well the team does, how well he does. I mean, you can have that's why I say you got to wait for the numbers because a lot of the salary can be dependent on how well he plays and how well the team plays. So how far we go. I mean,
that's how Horford's was structured.
Yeah. So you can have it like that. You can have a lot of incentive base where you have a base salary, and then he can get up to whatever his max is if these things happen.
How about if you average 25 and 11?
I'm just saying, like
I'm just kidding.
I'm just put numbers on it and the team success, and how about getting past the semifinals?
Yeah,
that could be.
I don't think anyone would care.
Getting to the finals, winning the championship, if that happens, then I think everyone would be happy. But I think that I see more of the deal being somewhat like that.
Man, if Harden helps us get to the finals, you could do a GoFundMe in Philly to pay for that incentive bonus. Okay, they will be more than fine for that.
Eastern Conference Finals. I think even if it gets the Eastern Conference Finals, I think people would be psyched about that.
I think Horford's was finals.
I think the Eastern Conference Finals now, the expectation for most fans, I gotta believe that we should be there. We should have been there.
Yeah, you can't ask for a GoFundMe for Eastern Conference Finals, though. I think the GoFundMe would kick in on the finals.
I mean, but the last time we were in the Eastern Conference Finals, Eric was in that matchup. So I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Eric was the last guy to taste that in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's why Teja and his people are so hard on Ben Simmons.
Hey man, Ben Simmons himself was hard on Ben Simmons. Okay, so I'm just helping contribute to it. And to be fair, I actually was I was a very patient Ben Simmons follower. I don't think we've ever really covered that because we started this after the whole Ben Simmons stuff happened. I was a very patient Ben Simmons guy. I just wanted slow progression every year. All I wanted. It's what I want for Thibault now.
You sure heard this guy. This guy always make excuses. Some of our friends who aren't Sixers fans would always laugh at him calling Ben Simmons fan sport number one.
That's right. It's true. It's true. And after Atlanta, what did I say, Marcus? I said right away, something's going on up here. It's way more than basketball. And then it took a few months for him to use that excuse himself, but you could tell. And I tried to support him, but when you
calling it an excuse,
what? What did I say? Well, I mean,
hey.
We can do a whole bonus show on Ben Simmons.
We can move on. I just heard that word. We can move on. That's a sensitive topic.
Yeah, it is. It's very sensitive. We can do a whole Ben Simmons show to catch up on all that stuff. I'd love to. I'd love to do a whole Ben Simmons show.
I don't think the Sixers fans want to hear his name anymore. So,
yeah, probably not.
Okay, so obviously we mentioned this draft week, 2 days before the NBA draft. And just looking at the mock draft, so obviously we'll talk about if we're going to keep the pick or not. I'm going to ask you guys again. I asked you last week, but we'll talk about that in the next segment. But all the mock drafts I've seen, they've kind of had us drafting the same kind of the same 5 guys. So the following guys that every kind of publication has us drafting was Wendell Moore, the wing from Duke, Dalen Terry, the wing from Arizona, Jaden Hardy, the guard from the G League Ignite, which we mentioned that Doc and Embiid were at his workout on Monday. Jalen Williams, guard from Santa Clara, and Blake Wesley, guard from Notre Dame. So I'm going to ask you guys here, put your GM caps on. If we're going to be drafting someone on Thursday night, and big if, who's the guy that you would realistically want us to draft in that 23rd position? Is it any of those guys or a certain guy you have in mind that you'd be looking to?
If we're going to those guys, I'll take the most talented and youngest player.
That's fair.
Smart.
I mean,
so even though we're trying just a food for thought, devil's advocate, we've emphasized on this show too the need to win now, right? So you wouldn't want the most.
But the reason why I say that is because you look at those guys, right? Unless one comes in and he's just this dynamic athlete and he's such a knockdown shooter, are they going to really jump the wings that we have?
There's only really one wing to jump, isn't there? It's Matisse.
I'm just saying, you got Shake and Bert. I mean, are they really going to come in and be better than them?
Yeah. But when you go the younger project guy, we talked about the whole car losing value when you drive it off the lot.
Yeah.
Once you drive him off the lot, we're not going to get the pick, the trades we want for him anymore. But yeah, but I definitely see your logic in that.
I'm just saying, like, I don't. If we're going to get a kid that's maybe 22 or 21 years old versus a kid that's 19, and the talent isn't that big of a gap. And the reason why I say that is because, like you said, everyone's high on Maxey, but a lot of people are high on Maxey also because of his age.
Yeah, that's true.
If Maxey was a 4-year guy, he's 23, 24, I don't think people would be as excited about it. But the fact that he come in, he's as young as he is, and he shows that jump, that shows more promise.
Yeah.
So I'm saying if we getting the player that no matter who it is, I don't see Doc really playing them that much.
Nope.
Then you go the Maxey route. Even though we stumbled on Maxey because the teams passed on him.
Yeah, we did.
But you go that route and try to see if you can find someone that can pair with him in the future.
Man, Maxey's like the unrealistic, like, romantic comedies where the guy like bumps his head and ends up running to the girl of his dreams. Isn't he? Like, we really did stumble on Tyrese Maxey, and that was just a home run, man. I can't. So thankful for that. So I'm not a draft guru by any means. I went to a bunch of websites, picked out a couple of the more consistent intangibles for these players, the write-ups that I saw that had in common, and a few of the player comps. So Wendell Moore, he's 6'5", he's got a 7-foot wingspan, the largest gap between height and wingspan in the draft. They say he's a total 3-and-D-er, made major improvements his last year. Duke shot 41% in his junior season from 3. shades of Josh Hart and Gary Harris. That's compliments of Kevin O'Connor from Ringer. Terry, Arizona. They say he'd be a top 10 pick in next year's class. So it threw a lot of scouts for a loop when he decided to come out anyway. So the third scoring option from Arizona didn't get as many looks as you'd want him to. Needs to improve his shooting, but brings energy and defense. Again, compliments of KOC from Ringer, shades of Iggy and Will Barton. So that might be your guy, Eric. Hardy.
Don't put that on me now.
Hardy, the guard from the G League Ignite, top 10 pick before the season, but had a rough year in the G League, dropping him down a bit. I've heard he's Maxey-ish. Great offensive game, would be a swing for the fences type pick. He was also given a Dion Waiters, Bradley Beal, Cam Thomas, which is a weird combination of guys, actually. The Waiters and Bradley Beal thing, and then Cam Thomas. And then Williams from Santa Clara, 6'5", grew 4 inches in high school. So he played a lot of point at a smaller height. A great ball handler, good at pick and roll. Second highest standing vertical leap at the combine. Quick release, shot nearly 40% from 3. Can improve a lot on defense, but has great feel for the game in general and raises stock of the combine and overall just tested great. Shades of OG and TJ Warren, which is interesting considering what I just said about him. And then Wesley from Notre Dame. Some scouts call him more of a developmental pick. Others have raved about him, saying it's almost impossible to stay in front of him. He has cat-like quickness and ball handling, provides a lot of paint touches for him and other teammates. Good off ball, pretty good jumper, excels off the pick and roll. Known as a good defender, long reach, quick feet, able to stay in front of players, can guard 1 to 3 with a couple of years in the NBA. Shades of Jamal Crawford, Tyler Hero, and Bones Highland. So
and he's young, right? Is he young?
I want to say he is as well. This is, I think out of those guys, I think Terry is, because from what I read, not many people were expecting him to come out this year. It was a surprise.
Hardy's only 1 year removed from high school.
Yeah,
that's true too. Yeah. So I think the oldest guy is more. I think he stayed till junior, but if there's any other upperclassmen here, Wesley is 19.
Yeah,
so he's young.
I know who you're talking about. Yes.
So if I had to go high up, if we were picking right now, highest upside, it sounds like Hardy, because he had the top 10 pick as of last year. You know, he had the G League experience, which shot him down a bit. Based on write up and fit, for if we're talking about like a guy who can come in and like maybe produce for the team of what we need, I'd say more. He's the more NBA ready 3-and-D.
Yeah, he's ready for it.
Yeah. He's more of like the
and being that Duke, you fit a role.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and he did follow that well. They said there's maybe questions about his confidence level because he was never the guy at Duke.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to be his role in the NBA anyway. I think he knows his role already and he'll play it well. Kind of like the Desmond Bain of this draft, just kind of NBA ready to go, ready to hit it. What his role is.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that being said, I don't think we keep it. So, but it's cool to talk about them, and there are a lot of guys that would fit. This draft is rich in wings and rich in shooting guards. So, that's what we need wings. We need 3-and-D type guys. So, if we were going for that, this would be a good draft to dive in. But I think KOC reported a couple hours ago his report that we're trying with all of our might to trade 23 and Danny Green. So,
yeah. And like I said, I think the Christian Wood trade will help us with that, get us what we want.
I think so, right? I just drove up the value.
Yeah.
26 basically got Christian Wood. What does 23 get you?
Yeah.
Right?
Teja, you kind of already answered that, but last topic, as we head into the draft Thursday night, do you guys think we are going to keep it? And what would you do? Keep the pick or trade the pick?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I would, if we can move the pick and Danny, I would trade it. I'm not certain you move it if you're moving multiple guys that are in your rotation.
So you want to trade it if it's just Danny and 23?
Yes.
So Matisse is off limits.
I wouldn't trade another rotation guy. I wouldn't.
I just wanted to ask you, Eric, because I know what this guy would do. So
I mean, I wouldn't do it. I mean, you can, even if you draft a player, you can still trade him before you sign him. I believe you still can, right, Teja? Before you sign him?
I think you could trade him. Yeah, I mean, I think you could trade him once you pick. I don't think it becomes official till the free agency, NFL tamper period. So I think that's when it becomes like official. Because I think the what do you call it? Mavericks are in the same way. They can't trade it either. I think they have to wait as well.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, and it really just, but it also depends on what you're getting back. Like I say that, like I wouldn't trade another rotation player unless you're getting a starter.
Yeah.
Like who we're getting, it has to be a guy that we know he's a plug and play guy. He's going to start. He's going to fit that role.
So let me give you just a quick hypothetical as we've talked, based on what we talked about this episode.
Yeah.
You read we give 23 Danny and Ferk for Brogdon.
Yes.
Even if I threw Shake in there too?
Yeah, because I don't necessarily consider them as full-time rotation players.
Yeah,
they were in your rotation, but full-time rotation players, I'm looking at really your top 7 guys that you know are going to play every single game. Not a guy that's sort of one time they play, one game they play, one game they don't play. The minutes are up or down. And for us, I think we really got like 6 guys, if you count Danny, 6, 7 guys that were like that. And that was it. We talked about the big guys, like we never really knew which one was going to play. We didn't come into the game knowing whether Burke or Shake was going to play. We didn't know.
Yes.
I'm talking about a guy was going to play. We had 6, 7 guys.
And if you can keep Matisse and bring on a guy like Brogdon, man, I don't think there's much more to do besides getting back up big with our whatever cap we have exception.
That's why I like it from that standpoint. That's why I said you keep your rotation players and you're adding one, and then you can go address the big with a mid-level or something else. Then you're looking at 8, 9 guys that are really a part of your team to go win. And that's how I'm seeing it.
And I think Shake's totally expendable if you can get a guy like Brogdon because he can ball handle. So you wouldn't really lose a ball handler at that point.
Mm-hmm. And also depends how Jaden Springer kind of develops this offseason. We'll see him in the summer league in a few weeks, and he can definitely take on that role.
Yeah, that's true too.
No, they're going to have to take a look at him. So,
yeah.
And plus, if you want to bolster your 6-man role, again, if you just need to find the salary for it, Terrence Ross for those seconds, if you want to bolster your 6-man, it's doable. It is out there for not that hefty of a price. So, we can. It's definitely possible to do this. So, either way, man, drafting or trading, it's going to be really interesting and exciting next few days and next couple of weeks. But we should see something soon. If we didn't, then we just means we couldn't find it.
Yeah, I read an article earlier that you're going to see a lot of movement on draft night per usual. Like you see every draft, but you're going to see it a lot this year. And based on the rumors that we're seeing, it seems like it's going to be like that way. They got the John Collins and Sacramento one. I saw that one yesterday. There's a lot of things happening right now.
Yep.
So a lot of talks being had. I guess we'll see. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Bleav In 76ers, presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys next week as we discuss the aftermath of the NBA draft on Thursday night. So,
oh boy,
get it popping.
Take it easy.
All right, guys.